Hey guys, it's Sam here, and I wanted to make a kind of end of season review of Liverpool's season. As you know, I'm recording this on the Friday, so we haven't played the final game of the season yet, but because Villa won the Europa League on Wednesday, we have secured Champions League football, as we cannot finish any lower than 6th, and now 6th place gets Champions League football. So that is secure in whatever capacity it may be, whether that's 5th or 6th, or we can still take over Villa in 4th, although I don't know if we will. I think we're most likely to finish 5th or 6th, which is a very, very big disappointment given, you know, spending 450 million in the summer, the players that we brought in, on the back of winning a Premier League title. So, yeah, I look at this and I think that it's... Look, we all knew it was going to be difficult. We did. When Diogo Jota died, we knew it was going to be a difficult season. But it still doesn't, you know, dampen the blow of not having a good season, if you get me. But yeah, I look at a lot of things, and I think that overall it's just been a disaster after a disaster after a disaster of a season. And there hasn't been too much to sing about this season. It's just been a lot of disappointment. And I think large parts of that is down to the manager. And when I made those Liverpool and specifically slot videos a few months ago, you know, I was still on the fence. I was leaning towards him going, but I was very much still on the fence. That fence has been blown over ages ago. You know, I am completely wanting him gone. I don't have any faith in Arne Slot anymore moving forward. From what I've seen this season, I just don't see it. I think last season was a foundation of what Jurgen Klopp had built, bearing in mind that squad was in a title race the season before. Yes, we kind of dropped off about March, April, but for large parts of that season they were battling City and Arsenal to the title. So it's not like it was something new. You know, the squad had done it. They had failed at the last hurdle to keep up, and they were able to keep the momentum going into the new manager with similar ideas, and that pushed us over the line to a 20th league title. When he then spends money and builds his own squad and gets in his own players, it's fallen off massively. And I just don't know if giving him another 100, 200, 250 million this summer is going to fix anything, because we're losing a lot. We're losing Salah, we're losing Robertson, we still could be losing Alisson. You know, we're losing a lot of leadership and a lot of players that have been here for years. And it's a lot to... It's going to take a massive rebuild to get anywhere close to that again. You know? And I just don't think he's the guy to do it. I think he doesn't know how to utilise Wirtz. We've seen it when he goes away for Germany. His quality, you know, the goals that he scores, it's still there. Because he has a manager at Germany that knows how to use him. That uses him well. And I just don't think Arne Slot can do that. I think McAllister's performances this season have dropped off massively. You know? There's people even saying now that potentially he should and could get sold in the summer. You know, a lot has happened, and I think the only player that can come out of this season with his head held high is Dominik Szoboszlai. He's been our player of the season by a country mile. I think a generous rating for everyone else would probably be about a 5. And that's being generous. Szoboszlai's probably been playing at about an 8 or a 9 for most of this season. You know, he's, I think, the only one that can come out of this season with his head held high. You know, he's really stepped up this season. And for me, he absolutely will be the first name I put forward as vice-captain for next season. I think he has deserved it. He's stepped up massively, and he looks like the leader that we could need going forward, especially after next season when, as we all expect, Van Dijk will leave. So, giving him that vice-captaincy and getting him a, you know, a bigger senior and leadership role will work in his favour for probably getting the armband after next season. But I don't see how Arne Slot can turn this around. I just don't, because he's lost the dressing room. Look, the players come out and say that they're still with him 100% because they have to. But we all know, we can all see by the way they've played for a long time, they're not playing for him. He's lost the dressing room. He's losing more and more of the fan base every week. And he's starting to lose the journalists. You know, some of the journalists are now questioning whether he still should be here. And when that happens, there's no way you get that back. You know, you've lost too much. And you would need a miracle to win all of that back. Because even if he starts next season on a winning run, the minute we lose a game, there will be parts of this fan base that go, well, here we go. Here we go again. You know, and can you blame them? You know, I don't have any shred of confidence in this man anymore whatsoever. I think all of that has been squandered. And I just also, you know, he's now tasked with building the future without our most prolific goal scorer for so many years. You know, we're not talking Suarez or Torres level here. We're talking like, we're talking on a level that I don't think a lot of us has ever seen at the club before. I think a lot of people have kind of I don't know. I just don't know how you replace that. I mean, you can't. It's simple, you can't. But you have to try. You just have to try and move on and find a player that can do his best to fill those shoes. And with the pressure that will be on him from this season, to find that replacement and make it work with this squad on the back of this season, I just think it's too much. I think it's going to be too much, and we're looking at a Brendan Rodgers situation all over again, where he has a terrible season, the board stick with him, they give him another 100, 200 million, and he's gone by October. The only issue this time is we don't have the Jurgen Klopp factor to come in. Xabi Alonso has gone to Chelsea, and Luis Enrique looks like he is staying at PSG. So, I mean, there doesn't seem like there's going to be that manager that is available so close to a start of a season that's going to be able to transform the club and the fan base the way Jurgen Klopp did. It's just not going to happen, and that's why it is best to do it after the Brentford game. You know, allow him to go with some dignity still left intact, because right now it is crumbling massively, and it's already toxic. You do not want it to get worse, because it does not look good, and you know, it's not a place that players or managers or anyone want to go when a place is toxic. So the last thing we should be doing is taking that risk of making this situation that is already awful worse. And for me, that is it, really. You know, there isn't too much else to say. I don't want this video to go on much longer. There's literally nothing else I can really say. I've said it all down in the video so far. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a real shame, because last season it was such a high and we all felt safe and secure in moving forward with this manager, and in 12 months that has completely gone out of the window. So yeah, that is it. We will see what happens in the summer. We'll see how this season ends on Sunday, and I will be back if there is a decision, and also with the transfer rumours and news as it comes in over the summer. But that's probably it for me speaking about football for well, until news comes, really. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.